Vinudhi Wahalathanthri, and I'm here with my 19th video from the DBMS question series. So this video explains how to write a data insert query, update query, a search query for a given problem, and how to write a join query statement to join a table. So let's see what are the questions we have to answer regarding this question set. So in question set 16, we created a database called exam marks DB. Then we inserted tables to that database. Next, we added data to those tables. So in this video, we are going to consider that table and answer the questions using queries. So now in this video, I'm going to show you all how to write an insert query, a update query, a delete query, as well as a join query. So let's see what are the questions we have to answer regarding this question set. So the first question given is, 2 new students have been admitted to grade 11 of the school. Their details are listed in the table below. Enter that information in the student table. Okay, so now we have to insert these 2 rows to our student table. So when we consider this table, y'all can tell that it's an insert query. Yes, so we have to give an insert query when we want to insert data to a table. So I'll be using my Heidi SQL software to type this insert query. So y'all can see my exam marks DB database over here. So now I'll begin to type this insert query. So I'll begin by typing insert into. And next, I'll give the database name as exam marks DB. And then I'll give the table we want to insert the data, student, and next I'll give the values we want to insert. So the first value we are going to give is the student index number. So I'll give it as STU009. And next I'll give the first name as Amandi. And next I'll give that student's last name as Vijay Singha. Okay, so next I'll give the student's gender as female. And next I'll give the student's contact number. So I'll copy the contact number from here so it's easy. And I'll insert it inside this single quotation. And the student's class name is 11A. So then 11A gives the ID of 1 over here. So y'all can see that. Okay. So I'll give the ID as 1 and semicolon, and let's execute it. Okay, so now it has been executed. Let's see how it's viewed. So I'll reload this. Okay, so now my query has been successfully executed. Y'all can see that Amanda Vijay Singha's all details has been applied over here in this table. So this is how we are going to write an insert query. So likewise, I'll insert the data of Natasha Vimalasena as well. So I'm going to use the same query. So I'll change her student index number, first name to Natasha. And I'll change her last name as well to Vimalasena. And her gender likewise. And I'll copy her contact number from here. And I'll paste it over here. And because she is 11B, I'll give her class ID as 2. And now I'll execute it. Okay, so let's see how it's viewed. Okay, so success, my query has been successfully executed. So this is how we can write an insert query. Let's move on to our next question. Our next question is, index number STU_004 student's last name should be changed to Moses. Write the relevant SQL query for this. So now we have to write an update query for this. So we have to change something. So therefore we have to write an update query. So let me show you how to write an update query. First, let's search the student in this index number. So we'll go to data STU004, the first name is Amanda and the last name is Tilakaratnam. So we have to change this last name to Moses. So let me show y'all how I'm going to write this update query. So I'll begin by typing update and I'll give our database name as exammarksdb.student. That's our table name. And I'll give the condition to set last name. And I'll give the value inside single quotations as Moses. And now I'll give the where condition. So if we didn't give a where condition, the system can't identify where we have to change this. So I'll give it as where first student index. Yes, so we have given it as index number. Index number equals to STU004. Okay, so likewise, we can write the update query. So let's see what happens once we execute it. Okay, so it has been executed. Let's see whether it works. Okay, so now you all can see that the word Tilakaratna has been changed to Moses. So success. So now this is how we are going to write this update query. So I hope you all understood that part. Let's move on to our next question. Natasha Vimalasena student's contact number should be changed to this number. Write the relevant SQL query. So over here we have to write an update query as well. So I'm going to use the same query and I'm just going to do some few changes. So I'm going to set the contact number. Set contact number, gravy accent, and inside quotations, I'm going to give this number. Okay, and in the where condition, I'm going to give the first name as well. First name, and I'll give it as Natasha. And because they have mentioned the last name as well, I'm going to give the last name also. Last name, Vimalasena. Okay, so let's execute it and see what happens. Okay, so it has been executed. Reload. Okay, so now you all can see that the student's contact number has been changed. So this is how we are going to write this update query. Let's move on to our next question. So our next question is Natasha Vimalasena transferred schools before the first term examination. Therefore, remove the information about this student from the student table. Okay, so now over here we have to type a delete query. So over here in the question, if they ever say remove, then we have to give a delete query. So that's going to remove someone. So that because of that, we are going to give a delete query. So let me show you how I'm going to give this delete query. So I'll remove this query from here. And now I'll start by giving the word delete. So I'll begin by giving delete from. And I'll give our database name as exammarksdb.students. That's our table. And I'll give a where condition. So we want to delete all the details of the student. So therefore, I'm going to give the first name of the student. First name as Natasha. And I'm going to give the last name as well. Last name as Vimalasena. Okay, and I'll execute it. So now I have given delete from exammarksdb.student, where the first name is equal to Natasha and the last name is equal to Vimalasena. So I'll execute it. We'll see what happens once we reload our data. Okay, so my query has been successfully executed. You all can see that the data of Natasha Vimalasena has been deleted. So this is how we are going to write this delete query. Let's move on to our next question. Find out the details of all the students in the school. So when they say find out all the details of all the students in the school, then we are going to give a select query. Okay, so I'm just going to type it as select all. So this star stands for all from exam marks db dot student. Okay, so that's all. Select all from exam marks db dot student, and I'll execute it. And y'all can see that in this area where we get the output, all the students' details has been loaded likewise. So this is how we can write a select query. Let's move on to our next question. Okay, so find the marks of mathematics subject of all the students in first term. Okay, so now they have given several conditions. So they have given mathematics and first term. So they have given two conditions. So we have to select all the marks of all the students where they have done mathematics in first term. So we'll give a select query for it. So I'm going to give it as select all from exam marks db dot student. Okay, and I'll execute it. Okay, so now this is how we can get them. First, we'll begin by selecting all the students. Next, we need the marks. So over here, I'm going to give marks. So we need it from our student exam mark record. So select student exam mark record dot mark over here. Okay. So now I will execute it. So now y'all can see that I'm getting an error. So why? We have to give an inner join over here. So let me show y'all how I'm going to type this inner join. Okay, so select all from exam marks db dot student. Okay, so I'll execute it. Okay, so this is the output we are going to get. So now we have to type an inner join for this. So I'm going to give it as select all from exam marks db dot student exam mark record. So we need the marks. So therefore, we'll select all from student exam mark record. Okay. So now y'all can see that this is the output. So next we have the inner join. So I'll type as inner join. So we have to inner join some tables because we need the exam term and the marks and the student's name and all. So I'll inner join the exam term first. So we'll give exam term and we'll give it on. So exam term is in our student exam mark record. So student exam mark record dot, and we have an option called exam term dot term ID. So it's equal to the exam term dot term ID. So that's equal to that. So next we have to inner join the subject. So we need the subject match. So therefore we have to inner join the subject. So we can get the subject on student exam mark record dot subject ID. So we have an option like that, subject underscore subject ID. So it's equal to subject dot subject ID in that table, in the subject table. So don't get a bit confused over here. So over here they're telling inner join exam term on the student exam mark record dot exam term ID. So over here they are telling is exam term ID is in this student exam mark record, and exam term ID is equal to this over here. So that is what they're telling over here. So don't get confused with that. Okay, so next we have inner joined all the tables we want. So now we'll give the where condition. Where subject dot subject name is equals to mathematics. Okay, and the term dot exam term dot term name is equals to first term. Okay, so now our query is complete. So it's still not completed. So now we have given select all from students exam mark record. So this is a select all. First, let's execute that. Okay, so now all the details of the students has been loaded. But in the question, what they're asking is the marks of the students. So therefore, we only have to select the marks. So because of that reason, I'm going to take off this term and I'm going to take student exam mark record dot marks and marks, and I'm going to rename it as marks of students for maths. So it's easy to identify. Okay, so now I'll execute it. Yes, we can't give this off and force, so I'm going to give it marks. Okay, let's execute it. Okay, so now my query has been successfully executed and this is the output we got. So now these are the marks of all the students where they have scored for mathematics in first term. So this is the answer for this question over here. For the 6th question, let's move on to the 7th question. Find all the marks obtained by all the students in the first term in the singular language. All the students' marks obtained in singular language in the first term. Subject to singular language. So I will copy it from our data table because it's kind of long. Okay, singular language and literature. So in the question they are saying, find all the marks obtained by all the students in the first term in singular language and literature subject. So looks like our query is complete. Let's execute it. Okay, so my query has successfully executed and this is the output we got by executing it. So these are the marks obtained by students for singular language for the first term. Okay, so that's the answer for our 7th question. Let's move on to our last question. Amandi Vijay Singha entered another school from this school before the first term examination due to receiving a scholarship. Therefore, remove the information on the student from the student table. Okay, so now we have the type and delete query to delete this student because she left the school before the first term examination because she received a scholarship. So we'll type a delete query for this. So I'll type it as delete all from student exam marks db dot students exam marks db dot students where first name is equals to Amandi. Okay, so now we'll execute it. Let's see what happens. To delete from exam marks db dot students where the first name is equals to Amandi. So I'll execute it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now y'all can see that the details of Amanti has been deleted. So this is the query for that. So let me show y'all all the queries that I have typed for this question set 19. So this is the answer for our first question, and this is for the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So this is for the seventh, and this is for the eighth, our last question. So I hope you all understood what I explained. So thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. So I'll be back with a new video. So until then, have a nice day and bye.